So in today's video, I want to cover why having a say, having an opinion, helping to make a decision with a group or with someone else, even if you really don't care that much about the outcome, is really important and can even affect your relationship with that person or those people. So are you kind of an easygoing person in these kinds of situations? Maybe you're just deciding with a friend what restaurant you want to go out to, for example. I've definitely been this kind of person for most of my life where, I enjoy a lot of different kinds of experiences. And so for example, with restaurants, it can even sort of feel fun sometimes not to necessarily know and feel spontaneous because someone else is making the choice. So it feels very easy, of course, in terms of it doesn't create a conflict, but it also, for me, truly has felt often like I don't really have that much of an opinion, and so I just let the other person choose. But something I've learned, sometimes the hard way, is that it really is important to practice having a say in these kinds of situations. And I'm going to talk about 4 reasons why. So the first one's actually the biggest one, and this is sort of the thing I'm talking about learning the hard way, which is that the dynamic down the road can go bad in the relationship. And really this is because, all the things we're doing are patterning into the relationship. We are creating that relationship as we go. So one aspect of this is you might want to ask yourself if you think down the line that you would always want the process, let's say, of decision making about a restaurant or about something else to go this way, where you were kind of the easygoing one, for example. Maybe in the future, there's going to be a time when you wouldn't want it to be that way. And so you can just think about the fact that, you're setting it up sort of as this dynamic, and then in the future, you'll have to shift it if you really never, ever give your opinion up until some point in the future when you might want to. The second aspect of this is that it can set up a sort of dominance of needs and decision-making patterning, like as to who is more dominant or makes more of the decisions in that relationship, even if that's not your intention, that can spill over into other areas or aspects of the relationship. So again, to sum it up, really this point is that we're constantly creating our relationships and their patterns, and so it's just important to be mindful if you're always having no opinion on something like a restaurant that you go to, that you're setting up that dynamic. And so maybe it could be better just to sometimes, even if you don't really care, sometimes sort of be the one who offers an opinion too, if you don't want that pattern to be set in that way. Number 2 is that we can miss information about the other person or the other people if we're never giving our opinion or adding ourselves into the decision-making process, because that kind of interaction with someone can tell you a lot about them. For example, how they handle not getting their way, or what their response might be just in communicating. And so I do have an example of this where I feel like in hindsight, I missed some relational dynamics with a friend that I could have seen sooner if I had been giving my opinion more often or being involved more in decisions. I think I would have seen some things about them that ended up becoming difficulties later. I would have seen them sooner if I had been participating more in that way earlier on. Number 3 is that it gives you practice asserting yourself, your needs, your opinions, your boundaries. We know that all of that's important, and it might feel like, the stakes are so low in this situation, or like, again, if we just really don't care, they're like, why bother? But it's such an important opportunity to use, because really practicing that kind of thing when the stakes are low is the best time to practice it. It's really great to practice boundaries, opinions, being part of the decision-making process, all of that, and trying to communicate about it. All of that is great to practice when the stakes are low and you don't care as much, right? And then number 4 is kind of a bonus, and it's that people can get to know you more and you can be seen more. Even though maybe this is a nuance of how to see you because it's something less important to you, maybe that feels like it's not as big a thing. So it's okay if someone doesn't know that about you, that maybe you, if pinned down, had a slight preference on a restaurant or something like that. When you think about it, all of these nuanced small things are also very much a part of what makes us who we are. It's not only the big standout aspects of our personalities that make us who we are and how we are, but this almost indefinable sense of who someone is very much about these smaller pieces that are woven together. So if you are willing to share that part of yourself in all these small ways along the way, that can help go a long ways towards helping other people see you and understand you better. So hopefully that was helpful in sort of digging into something that can feel like such an unimportant topic, but it really has all these little threads of how it can influence your relationship with others.